Alright, so the Coiled Captors DLC released yesterday, and boy oh boy has it ever caused quite the stir in the community. There is a huge amount of Discord, on both Reddit and Twitter at least, regarding this DLC. So today I'm going to not only be reviewing the DLC, but also talking about why a lot of these angry internet people actually have a point. Before we get into the video though, I want to know what your thoughts on the DLC are. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments down below. Starting off with the review, the Coiled Captors DLC is a fairly short DLC and it's honestly pretty lackluster. Now I unfortunately have a hard time keeping up with the announcements on this game since I work so much, but when I bought the DLC, I was kind of expecting a new story-based adventure like we have gotten in previous games. Maybe Gearbox has said at some point that it wouldn't be story-based, but I never saw that. The Coiled Captors DLC is one of the 4 Mirrors of Mysteries DLC we will be getting. Mirrors of Mystery is essentially a small area with all of your usual home area vendors and machines and the loot wheel, or whatever it's called, which is just a prize wheel that costs lost souls, the new currency, to spin. With each DLC we unlock a new mirror, each mirror is its own unique dungeon, and the Coiled Captors is our first dungeon. As I'm sure you can tell by its name, the Coiled Captors is a dungeon filled with the Coiled, which are high-key one of the worst enemy types in the game, and sea wargs as well. This dungeon does have a story, albeit not a very long or engaging one, but it does have a story, and the whole idea behind this dungeon is that the Coiled captured some powerful god and have it locked away in their prison, and it's your task as the Fate Maker to free this god. As for the gameplay mechanics, they're just fine. It kind of feels like it could have been more of a featured run on the Chaos Chamber, honestly. There's fighting and there are puzzles, and I use that word very lightly because the puzzles are literally just shoot at things until they don't move anymore. The boss fight at the end is pretty fun though, and the loot actually seems to drop pretty fairly. All in all, the actual dungeon itself is pretty fun to play through, and I could definitely see myself playing it a lot, especially considering the final boss is going to get tougher and tougher every week until May 12th. However, this brings me to my next point, which is why the community, myself included, is so angry about this DLC. This DLC is short. There's no denying that. The Coiled Captors is literally just a 15 to 20 minute dungeon, which seems crazy to me given how much this DLC costs. This DLC is $13.50 Canadian standalone, or $10 Canadian if you buy the season pass, and it's at most 20 minutes worth of content. Borderlands 3's first 4 DLCs by comparison were $20 each standalone, and about $16.50 each if you bought the season pass, and those DLCs gave way more content than this one. An even more embarrassing comparison for the DLC is that the 5 Headhunter packs for Borderlands 2 literally had more content than Coiled Captors, and they were half the price at $5 each. The Coiled Captors DLC has about as much content as the Malawan and Guardian Takedown, which we literally got for free. So why on earth are we paying full DLC price for so little content? Honestly, the DLC itself isn't bad at all. It's fun and it's nice to have something to do other than the Chaos Chamber. But the problem is we paid $10 at least for the damn thing. That's insanely overpriced for how little content we got. So I'd say the community has a right to be a little bit angry with Gearbox for this, since they charged us $10 for something that would have been free back in the Borderlands 3 days. Judging by their marketing too, literally every one of the first 4 DLCs is going to be like this. Just a quick 15 to 20 minute dungeon that we are paying $10 for. Unbelievable, Gearbox. I'm having serious buyer's remorse for the season pass now. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.